You are got to be joking. I cannot even begin to describe what I'm kind of feeling at the moment. I must have experienced the flip. What the hell? Probably got caught my own explosion. I must have experienced one of the most ridiculous glitches imaginable. Then when I did a very first kind of run through of the game or whatever, because as soon as I discovered that this thing was indeed supposed to be Glace's weakness, I was kind of you know, it didn't work. For whatever reason, the thing just didn't sit, or it did in the feet, but yeah, I was hitting him, you know, regularly, and for whatever reason, it just didn't connect. So, why do I keep resetting? Blur. So yeah, I think I probably at that point in time, hence proclaimed you could only really hit him in the feet. That yeah, I just kind of gave up using the grenade launcher. But as you can kind of see, I'm still having a hell of a time trying to flipping hit him with the grenade launcher. So I still don't like using it. I cannot get the hang of trying to hit him with it. So I don't know if I'm going to do a full. I don't know. I'm playing this on bitch mode, so I might be able to kind of get away with it. The thing about it as well is I've kind of like spawned the blooming grenade launcher multiple kind of times there, etc. And both times, you know, and completely missing him as well. But in doing so, I'm kind of actually you know, using the full kind of power of the gun, etc. So that I'm kind of like not able to use it then for a little bit of period of time afterwards. But yeah, I can obviously see that this is working. It is doing damage to him, but I still don't like it, I must admit. I still find it unwieldy to use, whether it's the ice physics or what, but well, there you go, as he kills me. Let's leave it at that, shall we? I'm not going to do it again, but yeah, so okay, ignore what I said at the previous end of video 2. He can be hit anywhere, and indeed with the grenade launcher does seem to do a reasonable amount of damage to him, but I still find it incredibly unwieldy. And you bet your life, on tree trunk mode, I'd still prefer to take this guy out with the regular gun. Hello everyone, Musto0063 back for I Want to Be Like Brisulph Part 3, and yay, just what this playthrough needed, more housekeeping issues. So yeah, I've put a couple of annotations on, etc. But there seems to be a problem with the recording software picking up the pause screen, etc. It's fine when I start the game off, and the game is in its pause mode, but not during the game. So if actually, like when I've got through a level and then hit the pause button, I've checked the video, and although it doesn't say that the recording's cut out, it doesn't like stop the thing or start saving it. But when I go and check the video just cuts out. So yeah. That's something fun as well, so I might end up coming back to this title screen, etc. A bit more often, just in terms of, you know, pausing the game, etc. And not letting both my timers, both the in-game timer for the, you know, dying and indeed the total overall game spent timer as well. So yeah, I might be back on the pause on the title screen. I could have got away with it for the start of this video, but I thought I'd show off the kind of like the game select screen just so I could show you that. Well, have a look at the deaths based on tree trunk and indeed bitch mode, and just ask yourself, how often have you ever seen that 2 levels are cleared on those 2 difficulties, and it's tree trunk mode with the fewer deaths? But yeah, let's actually progress with the game and get on with it with Area 3. And hang on a sec, I'm going to turn the volume up very slightly because I turned it down for the title screen because the music comes out quite loud. So Area 3. Wow, they make you kill everything here. Freezing things here is definitely not a good idea. When at the top of the waterfall, open your mouth and say blah. You can't assault the boss directly here, but it would help to have an automatic weapon handy. And it just so happens that I had one, so yay. And it's Bubble Bobble, and when I beat this one, I'm going to very briefly turn the volume down again, because that's come up extraordinarily loud. There we go. Hopefully that's not quite as loud. I might have screwed myself in terms of beating this, or hopefully actually not now, but yeah. Apologies if that came out rather loud. So yeah, it's Bubble Bobble, and I love Bubble Bobble growing up with my old NES, etc. But whoops. Yeah, it's It's really fun. The music tends to grate on you for a little while. Not so much in this game as it's used because you don't hopefully spend too long on the section. But when you go through like the entire game of however many screens you've got to clear and bubble, and you've got to listen to this music pretty much every single time, it starts to get that little bit grating. I'm sure you'd agree. The gimmick for this little area is not to try and die on spikes. Or triggers, etc. And I'll come back to talk about the subject of triggers in just a moment. But yeah, the point of this area is you need to kill all the little bubble enemies, and that will clear a path to the next screen. So we've got a variety of different type of enemies, etc. But none of them are all that bad, etc. Just shoot them about 3 or 4 or 5 times, etc. And they will go down. As with Bubble, if you... Well, actually, Bubble works slightly differently, obviously. But when you actually freeze an enemy in its bubble, or capture an enemy in its bubble, you then have to kind of like finish the job by, you know, touching the bubble, captured enemy, etc., just to make sure he's actually dead. If you don't do that, then the enemy comes back angry, etc., and that's what's happening here as well. So if once you hit the thing about 2 or 3 times, it turns red, it gets angry, and it starts to move a lot quicker. So if you find yourself kind of cornered, here's a demonstration. This one's obviously pretty easy because I've got him cornered right at the bottom, etc., but he's nowhere near me. But if you do find yourself cornered in such situations, then maybe have a kind of a think about the timing at which you want to kind of take them out, because you don't really want them angry, particularly when you're trying to navigate through narrow spike weaving sections. This one you want to take a little bit of time over because the current can be a bit annoying here, and there's also a kind of a ghoul enemy that you can't really kill in that area. I'll probably die here, so I'll come back and talk about it a bit later, but we're in Donkey Kong Country territory, and yay for the music, and yay for Donkey Kong period. I don't really need to use the freeze ray to get through this area, but I thought I'd just kind of demonstrate that you can do it, or you can use it, and it is rather effective. You can also use it on these ones if you so wished. I'm not doing very well with my timing of position things, but let's see if I can actually get one of them before my time starts to become an issue. Come on! There we go. Right, but you don't actually need to do it, so and that's probably my punishment for actually doing it. I should have just probably run for the exit and not even bothered, but oh well. I'll at least demonstrate that you can take those things out with the freeze ray, and it is rather effective. So you only need to hit them once, and they will go down. The green zingers in that area you can actually take out with your regular gun. The red ones you can't, but so that's something to pay attention to. Or, but oh yeah, okay, we're back in bubble territory now, and yeah, triggers. So here's a couple. And the triggers that are in this game are kind of, you know, spread out, etc. So there's not an abundance of them, and you know, that's quite whoa. See what I mean about the thing? Making sure when you're ready to take them out, you really want to be able to do so quite quickly, or you will get screwed. Yeah, triggers. There aren't that many in the game. They certainly don't feel like they're really all that irritating. More so, I would say, on tree trunks, particularly when you get to like the end of a kind of an area and you get screwed over by a trigger, because obviously you have to then do the entire area over again. But yeah, I don't find that the triggers are used, you know, there's not an abundance of them, etc. And nor are they kind of like you know, intricate or hugely intricate spike weaving sections. I'll probably screw myself over here again unless I take that thing out quickly, which thankfully I did. But yeah, the game's not like a needle game or anything like that, etc. So yeah, well, there aren't that many triggers to kind of screw you over. There's another one to remember or watch out for. Probably more remember than anything else. If you don't know it's there, you'll likely die to that, no question. But for that section, I'd probably advise that the current is going to the right hand. Your current is going to the right hand side when you're trying to fake out that trigger, just in case you end up moving to the left too quickly. But it's not impossible to do with the when the current is moving to the left. But yeah. Yeah, this screen you kind of need to time kind of movements quite well, because you can't kill the kind of ghostly enemy, etc. And it will follow you, etc. So time the movements for when you kind of get through that quite quickly with the current, particularly in that middle section. So here's me demonstrating that, or hopefully anyway, that you don't actually need to take the things out. And yeah, this time, wait, I've got enough time. Yeah. This bit with the platform, you don't need to take the things out. There is a trick where you can kind of like stand on the platform and these things will just circle you and not kill you. But I'm very nervous about it. So to be honest, I would like to try and take these things out like that. It's a far safer option. But you can do it without. I'd also like to get rid of these ones as well. I'm being very careful here to fire to the right and not the left because for this one I can. Well, there's only one. I'm fine. And I'm going to deselect the freeze gun so I don't accidentally hit the save. But what you do not want to do in that section is accidentally freeze the platform. And, well, in the brief 20 seconds I've got to talk about this because I can't pause the game, etc. That's Donkey Kong Country done. And again, the thing went by fairly quickly, and also my, yeah, I can't really pause the game because the thing's going to cut out. So, yeah, I'll save and probably go back to the title screen, etc. and pick up the boss in just a second. Okay, so in case anything's gone wrong, hopefully is actually showing the pausing does work when I start the video off like that. God knows what's going on with any of my recording software. But it is what it is, for the moment anyway. Let's just rejoice for a little brief moment with the absolutely freaking awesome Donkey Kong Country music in the background. I love this music, it's freaking awesome. Yeah, again, the stage has gone by pretty well, pretty quickly, etc. So when we come back, I'll probably go through a couple of other things as well. Yeah, well, let me just say first off on what I would ordinarily do for the boss. So as you can see here, there's kind of like an area to get through to the brambles to get down to the boss. On any other mode other than tree trunk, I'd obviously save here, and then I kind of wiggle myself in between the kind of the gap down, etc. So that I then don't die continuously, you know, well, not continuously, but I then don't have the opportunity to die on making that jump again, because I'm probably going to screw that up a few times on this mode. But of course I can't do that here because now I've hit the save, it's now completely useless to me. And not on your life was I going to try and do that wiggle thing first go without risking hitting the save, etc. So yeah, not going to happen. So yeah, let's kick off boss 3. And well, quote unquote boss, this thing is freaking amazing. I love it. Sonic from I Want to Be the Boshi will still, I think, always be my absolute favourite boss, just for various reasons, but this thing, I freaking love it. That is a flipping horrid code you might ask me to put in there. Sorry for breaking my stride there, but this is freaking awesome. It's probably effectively, obviously, like a mini game collection, but I freaking love it. I've seen comments, etc., that I think Yo Sniper is very proud of this, or considers it one of his the best kind of ones he's done, and I have to concur. This is absolutely freaking amazing. I love it. Yeah, you're right to be proud of this. This is absolutely freaking brilliant. If it goes by incredibly quick, I will do a bitch mode playthrough, etc. again, but yeah, kind of sorry, I just broke my stride. That was very nice of you, thank you for that. But yeah, what can I say? This is just, I don't know, I love it. The timer, this is probably going to be the one that's going to kill me. Maybe not. Oh, no! The timer, sorry, the in-game timer here for, yes! Oh wow, first go, you've got to be kidding me. I will definitely do something on bitch mode. Provided I don't die on a spike here. Yeah, wonderful. I've got enough time to read this as well. This is the bubble blaster. Press 4 to select it. Fire bubbles that trap some enemies in bubbles and turn them into rising platforms that you can ride to new heights. Bubbles can also carry dangerous items away from you or into enemies or bosses. Hint, hint. I'm not going to get too close just in case I end up screwing something over, but there you can see a demonstration of how it works. I could now ride on that, etc., to get up to the ledge. But let's not take any risks. And let's just make sure, hopefully, I can hit the save in time. Yay! Right, cut while I sort out my pause function. Okay, so that was me showing off the trick that I mentioned beforehand about standing on the middle of the platform, etc. And you will get through that zinger bit without dying, but yeah, I wasn't taking the risk on tree trunk mode. Well, let me just do a bit of setup now as well, if I can. Yeah, a bit like that. So that was exactly how I'd... I'm dying there, am I? Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, that was what I would described on tree trunk mode as well. So apologies, yeah, the games are not going to be as difficult as the other ones on tree trunk mode, although this one might actually get me. Yeah, you see, obviously you can see here that you don't get. Well, let's just see what happens if you die, or you don't clear one. Yeah. So there's that. But yeah, I suppose what can I say about dodging at certain? Well, let's talk about all the certain moves. So that one's fairly obvious. This one, I kind of deal with that in a kind of like a binary situation. So I can kind of automatically think of the number in binary code. So for instance, I'm trying to go back to the tree trunk mode one here. By the way, if I actually do this, because I'm fairly certain I'll be quite successful on this, on bitch mode at least anyway, although I've screwed that one up again, how about that? But there are fewer games I've got to play, etc., and they're quite a bit easier. So yeah, if I get through it, I'll restart, etc., and show things off again. But yeah, just to talk through some of the moves again. I was talking about that binary one with the doors, etc. I kind of have I can think of numbers in binary kind of fashion immediately. So the one I actually had on the tree trunk playthrough was something like 8, etc. So I recognise 8 in binary as 1 0 0 0. Which meant that I should open, or I should just have the first door, which was 8 on display. 13, for instance, would be 1 1 0 1. So I should have. What am I doing? That's what happens if you screw up the bomb one, by the way. Yeah, so 13, for instance, was 1 1 0 1. So I should have the first, second, and fourth doors open. So that's how I kind of work that out. I mean, it's done in a summing kind of way. So 13, for instance, is 8 plus 4 plus 1. So I needed to have the 8 on display and the 4 and the 1. So that's how that one works. Other ones, well, let's just go in order now. This one, you have to obviously hit the numbers, etc. You ideally probably want the ones on the bottom of the display, because it's easier to kind of like hit them as opposed to jumping up and trying to get yourself in other positions to hit them. But not too bad. And as you saw on that one, I only had 3 to hit, whereas on the other one I had 4 to hit. So yeah, apologies, all these moves are going by just that little bit quicker. I'm actually going to demonstrate what happens if you kind of stay in the middle here, etc. Because as you saw, there was like a flame thing, but as you can see, it still doesn't kill you. So if you thought that thing in the right hand side, you thought you kind of had to get out of the way of it, you don't. Get high. This one, well, get up. Well, as it says, get high and jump kind of high up. The collector style ones. Funnily enough, I almost find the tree trunk one almost the easiest, because actually all you do for that one is you get up to the top and you drop down in the middle. There's one on like hard as mode, which is collecting 3, where you've kind of got to be right in the middle. You need to kind of stand on one needs to be on one of the extreme edges and kind of collect them in unison. And depending on where you're positioned on screen, that can be really quite time consuming in the 4 seconds you've got. This one I love, by the way. Yeah, just do not press anything on the keyboard. Don't jump, shoot, do anything. Blah, blah, blah. That one's really quite straightforward. There we are, some more of them done again. Other than sort of, well, as you can kind of see as I'm showing off a few kind of more of these. Most of these are fairly obvious. So, I mean, shoot the targets one's fairly kind of standard. This thing, just, shoot it, etc. Again, fairly standard. Get into position is one where spikes will drop down from the ceiling, but you can clearly, if you look up, you can clearly see there is a gap in where the spikes are. This one, avoid rain. People have a lot of seem to have a lot of problems with, etc. But if you get down low, provided it's not, it could be. I suppose it could, in theory, be cheap and just put rain in the most ridiculous positions. But for the most part, it's not too bad. This one is kind of fun. You kind of have to obviously pay attention to what's on screen. There's always one of those 3 commands that you don't want to do, and you also have to pay attention to which order you want to do things in. Fire bullets is fairly obvious, although on tree trunk mode you have to fire 16 of them, and I'm not so good with a fast trigger finger, so the automatic weapon thing actually helps a lot there, because I can select the machine gun and spray bullets everywhere. So here, for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do that in time. But the 16 one, not really so much. So having the machine gun, which is able to fire, obviously, automatic bullets, is rather helpful. I would tend to kind of face closer to a wall, etc., just so that when you are spraying bullets, there's not like a limit for bullets kind of on screen, etc., and they'll go off screen a lot quicker. So if I was kind of like facing the middle, they'd take longer to get off screen. Let's have a look at this one. So okay, so jump and then press shoot. Okay, so that one wasn't really an annoying one from a fake out, etc. That find the gap one, you really kind of want to be on the right hand side, because I say spikes will come across from the left, etc. And yes, so you want to be on the right hand side to give yourself the most amount of time to dodge them. The only time I find that really difficult is if you kind of get forced across screen to the right hand side for some reason. So one of them that could be really quite irritating is get to the goal where it kind of forces you over to the left hand side, and then it does find the gap. So that one could be quite irritating. But oh well. Yeah, the rest is mainly kind of fairly straightforward. I think I've kind of talked about much of everything. Okay, so don't press left, press shoot, but first press right. So right and then shoot. Yeah, I do quite like that, the command thing. It kind of is kind of a nice kind of a thing. I've got maybe a little bit more to talk about, but the recording's gone on a bit, so yeah, I might just cut there briefly, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so just a few more goes, a couple of extra things to say. So first off, the optimal position to stand, for me anyway, at least, given the set of moves, is about here-ish. On this platform, at least, anyway. It affords you to be able to get down quickly if this move happens. You obviously want to be as low as you possibly can to avoid that one. If it's to get high, you're not kind of so low so that you can, it's a bit more of a challenge to get high. If there's one about, so left and shoot. If there's one about find the gaps, etc., you're automatically on the right hand side, so that you can avoid that fairly easily, like this, etc. And this one's probably one of the more annoying ones. That one could screw you over, I suppose, in theory, if it were one was low and then high, because you've got to obviously jump up. Let's keep going. Yeah, what other moves? Avoid also is kind of, I think, is probably on, that's about where I want to be, etc. For things like, needing to get the key to unlock the door, etc., they'll tend to be, you'll position yourself, etc., so that you can kind of get to that kind of in time, etc. So, for me, anyway, this position here is about the optimal position. It forces you to be able to get almost everywhere on screen and not get screwed over. Or in theory, anyway. So shoot and then jump. Yeah, so that's probably about all I really want to say on moves. I think I've kind of described most of them. I mean, most of the other ones are fairly kind of obvious or standard, etc. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to say, because I don't think I had time during the main playthrough, was to say that the timer. This is almost the one boss, etc., where the timer has absolutely no impact whatsoever, unless you screw around for ages in terms of not getting to the boss, because you've got 4 seconds for each kind of one. So Sniper had to allow enough time for the 4 seconds to clock down, etc. So you've got to have enough time to because the 4 seconds is always going to happen. There's got to be enough time to do all the moves. So yeah, the time on this on tree trunk mode here is absolutely irrelevant. Here we are. You forced me over to the right hand side. That is the one time. There we are. That might even be. I don't know if that's the first death on it. Probably not. No, I showed off a couple of deaths and I missed a balloon, didn't I? But so there you go. That one there forced you over to the left hand side for 4, get to the goal, and then screw you over by doing a find the gap immediately afterwards. So yeah, that's probably about the one instance I find that it can really screw you over. But other than that, yeah, the time limit. Yeah, it's of no consequence whatsoever. So. That's probably about all I wanted to say, really. I will now go and beat this thing this time and just show off the bubble thing at the end, etc. But yeah, what can I say? I love this boss. It's I say quote-unquote boss. It's a kind of just a mini-game collection, but I love it. It's brilliant. Yeah, I don't know what else to say on it. I just have so much fun when playing it. And nothing ever feels all that cheap to me. Kind of it feels like it's something I've screwed up on, or... Even if it does screw up, it doesn't feel like you've invested a whole mess of time in it, etc., or something like all that. So, yeah, I absolutely freaking love this boss. It is awesome. So, yeah, anyway, here's a demonstration of the bubbles, etc. And I now can ride on these. In tree trunk mode, I just didn't want to run the risk of accidentally tapping left or right and walking into the damn thing. So, yeah, I wasn't going to risk it for that. But that's how the bubble thing works. It will certainly come into play in later parts of the game, etc. So, yeah, apologies, perhaps I didn't get to show off the tree trunk mode of that boss too much, etc. I could have maybe gone back and done that, but I didn't really want to risk losing deaths or whatever, or getting up to it. So yeah, hopefully showing off the bitch mode of it was enough. It kind of shows off all the moves, etc. But yeah, the playthrough is going extraordinarily well. But I'm not having much time to talk about tree trunk mode bosses at the moment. There's one death to Glacius. Not in my wildest dreams could I have imagined this has gone that well. So yeah, that's Area 3 done. Now we're going to, next time anyway is Area 4, and where the recording issues are really going to come to fore, and hopefully I'll get to explain or indeed demonstrate why this has taken so long to get round to doing. But yeah, tune in for that. Cheerio.